Have you ever fought a battle that wasn't yours because no one else would? My sister was 23 when she was first diagnosed with schizophrenia. Honestly, it wasn't even a surprise. Growing up, I'd constantly hear her whispering alone in her room, but when I walked past, she'd stop mid-sentence and stare at the wall, like I'd interrupted a conversation I wasn't supposed to hear. Or another time, she literally went a month straight without showering. Her reasoning being that there are people watching her through the pipes. And despite me being just 2 years older, my parents left her up to me because they figured I knew what I was doing. Well, I didn't. All I knew was that I always had the responsibility to cancel plans with my friends, pass up on college, and basically stop studying, all in the name of taking care of my sister Nina. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't some bold act of selflessness. If it was up to me, then I would have just left her at home while I lived my life. But it was up to my parents, and if they ever caught me doing anything outside of Nina, they'd wail on me, yell at me for being a disappointment. So when I had finally saved up enough money for her to get diagnosed, my idiot parents were surprised. They genuinely had no idea, because by this point, they had literally found another home to live in. Meanwhile, we were stuck together in a 300-square-foot apartment, while I worked 70 hours a week at the local Chipotle just to make ends meet. It was simply too much. So I took her to a mental institution. With the help of an insurance plan, we got a pretty good deal. And even though Nina was a huge pain, I really did love her. So I made sure to sneakily interview the other patients, inspect every room, and even made sure she was happy with it before I left her there. I always visited her at least 5 times a week and brought her fresh blankets, new clothes, and her comfort items. She promised me that it was helping her get better. And that's when my parents found out about where she was. I still remember the call. "Can you put Nina on the phone?" My mom asked. I mean I would, but she's in Whitestone Institution. There was an audible gasp over the phone. "What kind of sister are you?" But I hung up before she could continue spewing her BS. It wasn't fair. I deserved to have a life too. And from there, I did. I spent the year getting my GED and managed to get a job that was almost double the pay of Chipotle. I got time to myself and even met the LOML, Eli. And Nina seemed happier than ever. One day when I visited her, I could tell there was something different about her. Her voice was relaxed, calm. "Chloe, I know no one ever told you this, but thank you for taking care of me. I was too messed up to say it back then, but I love you, and I'll never forget everything you've done for me." My vision blurred instantly. Tears fell before I could even stop them. I took both her hands, and we both just cried. "Thank you for paying to have me here. I think I'll be able to leave in a few months." For the first time ever, her voice made the future feel possible. I assured her that it was no problem, and she could take all the time she needed. Between work and Eli, I got really busy that week. It was literally the only time I missed more than a day of catching up with her. So when I showed up a week later, I came with fluffy socks, a new journal, and an expensive new lip balm. But she didn't accept my gifts, or my apology, because she wasn't there. An awful gut feeling instantly washed over me. I frantically interrogated all the staff members, asking what the F had happened. They all told me the same thing. She had signed herself out. I began begging them to review surveillance of the facility exit. I even tried to seduce them, but it didn't work, because it was against protocol. The following 48 hours were some of the worst of my life. I think I slept a total of 1 hour and spent all my time driving around with my boyfriend to look for Nina. I had plastered missing posters everywhere, and even had a search group from Facebook help out. In fact, they were the ones to find her. She was in a local drainage ditch, unalived. Her body had torn clothing and there were bruises all over her neck. I immediately threw up on the grass in front of me. They say the first stage of grief is shock, but it's not, because all I felt in that moment was a need for revenge. I didn't say anything, and asked Eli to drive me to Whitestone. He looked confused, but he knew better than to argue with me, so he did. And when I got there, I kissed him goodbye, because I admitted myself for a voluntary year-long stay. You see, I knew that if I wanted to destroy them, it had to be from the inside out. The rest of the full video is on my channel and linked below.